Dozens of people walked past the man during his performance, blissfully unaware that he is still at the center of a massive investigation into 56-year-old Mr Gaine's disappearance and murder. The suspect in the Michael Gaine case has made a bizarre public appearance, just days after he was arrested over the farmer's murder. The Irish Mirror has learned that the suspect, who is in his 50s, played a musical instrument in a County Kerry town early on Thursday morning. Dozens of people walked past the man during his performance, blissfully unaware that he is still at the center of a massive investigation into 56-year-old Mr Gaine's disappearance and murder. The performance followed his arrest on Sunday night on suspicion of the murder of Mr Gaine, who was last seen in Kenmare, County Kerry on March 20. The suspect was detained for 24 hours, before being released without charge from Killarney Garda station at approximately 10:40 p.m. on Monday night. Meanwhile, we have learned that Mr Gaine's killer cut up his body into pieces that were so small he was able to push them through a gap a few inches wide. Investigators believe the murderer spent hours chopping up the body before pushing the remains through small gaps between wooden slats that covered a massive slurry tank in Mr Gaine's farm. Sources also tell us investigators now believe the killer used water and disinfectant to wash forensic evidence from his gruesome crime into the same slurry tank on the farm near Kenmare. And, as investigators continue to comb Mr Gaine's farm at Corrig East, the Irish Mirror has learned that Gardaí have now recovered practically all of his remains. Almost all of the body has been found now, a source told us, 6 days after the first human remains were found on Mr Gaine's land. There may be a tiny amount unrecovered, but in effect the remains have been recovered. It's understood a significant amount of the remains were found in fields in the 1,000-acre farm that had been spread with slurry taken from the tank. But it's also believed most of the remains were found in the tank, which is in a large shed in the center of Mr Gaine's sprawling yard. The finds were made by specialist Gardaí from the Technical Bureau in the Water Unit, who combed large areas of land as well as every inch of the large slurry tank. We revealed yesterday that Gardaí are satisfied the remains are those of Mr Gaine, who was last seen in a Centra shop in Kenmare, around 8 kilometers from his farm, on March 20. The remains have not yet been formally identified, but sources tell us experts have already indicated to senior Gardaí that the remains are those of Mr Gaine. Garda HQ declined to comment when the Irish Mirror asked them if the remains had been identified. A spokeswoman told us, as these questions would pertain to the specific operational activity undertaken by Gardaí as part of an ongoing criminal investigation, we are not in the position to comment. Officers based at the Investigation HQ in Killarney Garda Station are now working on the theory Mr Gaine was killed at the farm on that day. They believe the killer moved the body to the slurry tank, where he spent hours dismembering it, possibly with a chainsaw. Several such tools were recovered from the farmland in recent days, including one that appeared to have been hidden. It is now being forensically tested. The wooden slats that cover the slurry tank are also being examined to see if any of them show signs of strike marks from a tool like a chainsaw. Sources tell us that Gardaí believe the remains were in the slurry tank from the day Mr Gaine was last seen. And they have also ruled out the possibility that the body was dismembered by an agitator machine attached to the slurry tank. They say it would not have the capacity to cut up a human body. We have also learned that experts drained the slurry tank and others on the farm shortly after Mr Gaine's wife Janice reported him missing on March 21. They then combed through the thick sludge with poles in the search for his body, in case he had accidentally fallen in. But the search would not have been able to detect small body parts. The search of the slurry tank and farm was ordered on Friday after partial human remains were found in at least 2 fields. The discovery was made by neighbors who were spreading slurry, taken from a tank on Mr Gaine's farmyard, on his land. Pieces of remains got stuck in the spreader, and when the neighbors examined them they quickly called in Gardaí. That led to the farm being declared a crime scene, and being minutely searched by local Gardaí, the Technical Bureau, the Water Unit and even members of the Defence Forces Engineers Specialist Search Team. Those searches were continuing on Thursday. On Sunday, following the grim discovery, a suspect was arrested. He was detained on suspicion of murder for 24 hours. But he was released without charge from Killarney Garda Station late on Monday night. The suspect, who is in his 50s, was known to Mr Gaine. Gardaí say the investigation is continuing.